Mayor, item 2, ordinance 7248. This is the second reading of the ordinance we started last week. Again, this is to ensure that we have fully implemented the changes that were made in the 2010-2011 budget as it pertains to the city's participation in TMRS. Specifically, this one stops the automatic recurrence of the updated service credits and puts it back on an ad hoc or a year-by-year basis for your consideration. Any questions or comments on that? Next item, Mayor, item number 3, resolution. This is the start of the required 5-year update of our regional hazard mitigation plan as it pertains to Amarillo. What we're doing by the passage of this resolution is authorizing us to participate with PRPC and setting it up to where we can count the time and effort spent by our emergency administration group as our in-kind match for the project. Again, key to this, not only is it good planning to protect the community, but it helps us maintain our eligibility for funding for some of these projects. Mr. Starbuck, item here somewhere. That area would be.
30 questions.
Good? All right. Mayor, moving to the, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you coming out today, wherever you're at. Moving to the consent agenda, item A, and if I could, we could discuss item B at the same time, and the fire chief is here, as are representatives from information technology. The first one, advanced rescue systems. These are the jaws of life, and these will be equipping the 2 new vehicles that we have previously purchased and that are on their way to town to equip the soon-to-be finished Station 12. They are proprietary. We do ask your permission to purchase them as proprietary items because they will match all of the other units we have, training, safety, quality, etc. Second one follows directly on that. Item B is the locution system. This is the alert system that's placed into the fire stations that our new Amarillo Emergency Communications Center sets off. Alerts the firefighters, wakes them up, whatever the case may be, day or night, provides information, shepherds them into the truck bay, and off we go. Hopefully quicker, better, and with more information available than what we've had previously. It will match what's in 8 and 11, and the lighter version of the same system that's in the existing stations. And fire chief's available if we have any questions for that.
There. There you are.
He just appears.
That's aggressive. Did y'all have any questions on that? Good. Not where we are.
C on the consent agenda.
Mayor's back.
Mayor's back.
Yeah.
Mayor, item C is the annual contract for our fuel, both diesel fuel and unleaded. Again, as we've done in previous years, we buy this based off what's called OPIS, or Oil Price Information System. It's a national program that has regional average prices that wholesalers pay for fuel. We put that out to bid, and we ask people, based on the OPIS price at the time we purchase, how would you sell to us? In the case of diesel, we are being offered whatever that moment's price is, minus 0.66 cents per gallon over the course of a year, or 630,000 gallons. That'll add up to you. For unleaded, we buy a smaller amount of unleaded, and it's again the OPIS price at that moment plus 0.0079 or 0.79 cents per gallon. We've used this method for several years. It's a very efficient method. I think it's fair both to the city and to the vendor on locking in.
Why do we add a plus on one and minus on the other?
That's how that particular vendor bid it.
Really?
In the last couple of years, we've seen that with a deduct on diesel and an ad on unleaded. Probably, 4 or 5 years ago, we had ads on both.
I remember several years ago, it seemed like diesel was higher than unleaded, wasn't it?
Still is.
Yeah, it's still higher.
Still higher?
We just use a lot more of it.
Oh, well, I go to filling stations. That sets me back. And see where it's at. Fill it.
What is
Out of the good days.
Yeah. I know.
This column on alternate
Fixed price.
bid patrol.
It was a fixed price for a term year, so it was substantially higher.
Yeah.
It wouldn't float.
Okay.
And we're buying today at 80 cents less than that.
Yeah.
It's difficult anymore in any of the petroleum markets, whether we're buying oil or other lubricants or hydraulic or fuel, they can't do it. Anyway.
Doesn't it seem like we just talked about fly ash?
It's just so memorable, Mayor. It just
No.
seems.
Fly ash. That's what we just did.
You just like saying it.
Fly ash.
Better than some of them we bring to you today.
Yes, sir.
I can't pronounce those.
Item D is the annual purchase of fly ash. This is a product that comes out of the power plants. Since all of the power plants are owned by Excel, they actually sell that on a contract basis each year, so it's really a sole source as well. It is a good product. We use it mainly in areas that we expect erosion or washout. When fly ash goes down and it's wetted and compacted, it has a cement-like quality to it.
What is fly ash made of? Flies and ashes?
It's the byproduct of burning coal in the
Oh.
power plant. It falls down to the bottom of it.
It is like ashes.
Because once it's wet, it's like cement.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Okay.
Final one, Mayor, is just a temporary construction easement that we need for a utility project.
Okay, we usually don't have names on the end of those with a certain person. On Delgado?
Typically, if it's a piece of real property, we identify the real property owner, so we try to do that.
Any questions? Okay, great. So now we can move to our work session, right?
Mayor, if you would like, I know we have several folks in attendance from the public, as well as we have your two golf pros and Mr. Offerdahl back with us today. Try to follow up on our discussion that we had last week on where we stand with golf fees, where we might want to look at going, and just kind of how all that fits together.
One on each side.
There is one.
One behind Nino, one on that side of Quality.
Thanks, guys, for coming back.
You guys have your copies? Okay.
Oh, no.
Mayor, I want to thank you for bringing us up and coming back. Provide a little bit of a clarification from our last week's meeting. As you know, the current capital improvements fee has already been approved in the budget. And so that was something that we can visit about that again, a $2 capital improvement fee for greens fee and for the annual improvement plays. It's already been approved. So really, if there's no questions on that part, I'd like to go to the second item, which is really the elimination of the punch card and going with the discount golf player's card and why we want to do that.
So what you're saying is we've already approved the top, well, what we have is the top part. Now we want to address the new information.
Yeah, I think just a quick summary of what you approved in your budget this year is the implementation of a single $2 per round golf course improvement fee to be applied both to green fees and to permit holders. And that's pretty much sums up what was done in the budget and what's in place today. They'll begin to pay January 1, but that was approved in your current budget.
Now, when that's per round, that's if they play 9 holes or whether they play 36 holes.
36 would be two.
It'd still be $2.
Will be two times $2
Okay.
per round of golf.
9 or 18, it's $1 $2 fee.
That's right.
And if they play that afternoon, another 9 or 18, it's another $2.
But if it's initial 9, is there, it's just 9 additional, just $50, okay.
And that ought to generate over $200,000 to the golf improvement fund. About $70,000 is going in now, but with the $200,000 a year in that fund, we could really make some improvements at the courses.
Okay, so this isn't strictly for the new golf course?
No.
Okay.
It'll handle both. And then, I guess, Larry, if y'all would continue with what you would suggest that we consider doing between now and January 1.
Well, George and Sherwin and I met pretty in depth about, we currently have in place the punch card. And this has really worked well because we actually were able to give an option, instead of having to the daily fee player and also to the annual pass player, we offered a punch card. And this was 3 punches, 12 punches total. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to distribute the play equally to all 4 courses, and which we did. And so I think now that we've taken one course down, we looked at how can we make this truly more of a benefit to providing over the actual discount card, punch card. And this is where we came up with the golf, the player's card. And so, and I'm going to let George and Sherwin talk a little bit about, because they're out there every day, but I think the benefits that we see is that it's going to give more of a more convenient discount, and it'll give people who are playing more golf the opportunity to get a bigger discount. So, George, you can say something.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of going back where we were, once again, that punch card was 12 rounds of golf, and we determined where they were going to play that golf. And if there was any, I guess, some resistance to the player was we were making them use them on certain golf courses, and they couldn't choose where they, if one guy wanted to use it all at Ross or all at Comanche, we didn't let them. So it was a little bit restrictive. It was a little bit hard. The backdoor accounting of the cards that were out there, we probably benefited from them. Some of the rounds probably didn't get played, so everything was good. But it allowed basically the guy to get a $4 discount on 12 rounds of golf. Basically, what
Each round, $4 each round.
yeah, if
Okay.
he used all 12 rounds,
To the
basically what he paid for the punch card was $4 discount per round of golf on 12 rounds of golf. Once he did that, he could buy another one. Buy another one. What we wanted to do is just simplify the process, so to speak, and a guy pays $80 up front for the year, and that entitles him to get $4 discounts for the remainder of the year. So he's basically got to play 20 times, and he recoups his $80 investment, and then he starts getting a discount on round 21 up to wherever he goes. He can pick what golf courses he wants to play. We don't restrict him where, and that's good for us because now we have 3 golf courses instead of 4 golf courses in play. So it's a little bit more user-friendly for this guy. But the guy that's going to play that 55, 60, 75, 100 times, he's going to be an annual permit holder because that's where his best value is. This is really designed for the guy that plays somewhere between 21 and 50 rounds of golf in a year. And we're just offering him a
But they
package.
still pay the $2.
It's in the
It's in the $14 fee instead of the $18 green fee on the 3 golf courses. It's 14, 2
Yes,
goes
they
towards
pay
the
it.
golf course improvement fund, 12 in the general fund. So it's all accounted for. And in the previous, the punch card wasn't accounted for any money into the golf course improvement fund.
Kind of lose me on that. Last time you lost me on that.
It's very pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's, yes, they pay the $2 fee per round. It's just, it's part of the total, but $2 of that credits straight into that golf course improvement fund.
And you think how much will be put away in the city club, I mean, in the golf course fund?
On this, on the permit
Everything.
card.
That was my number, about 200,000.
200,000.
That,
Today, the only contributions made to the golf course improvement fund is a $1 that's paid only by the green fee players. Permit players, or today the punch card players don't pay that. And that was part of the discussions we had back during the budget, was to set that as an across-the-board capital improvement fee. This change would require a subsequent action from this body. So if this is something that you're interested in pursuing, we would prepare it to you and pass it as an ordinance. And we need to have that done probably sooner rather than later, but we have a couple of weeks to look into doing that.
May I ask what kind of feedback have you gotten from the golfing?
The few people I've mentioned it to, they see it as a benefit. I mean, why wouldn't you? You're getting $4.
You're not gonna have a whole lot of takers on this, but what it does is it fills the void, as George said, between a guy that's playing either 640 or 930 and a guy that's stepping into the counter playing wild horse at what will be $24 a head. This might hit a young guy that's gonna play 45 or 55 times and then save him $180 on the year. But if he's gonna play more than that, as we've said, he's gonna buy a permit anyway.
And this was really nothing, I mean, we're really basically just replacing a program that we basically had in place.
And making it more flexible.
That's right.
May I ask you, which one would you purchase? Which one? Have your questions been answered?
I've always, well, for the last, I don't know how many years, 8 or 9, the permit, because,
The best deal.
yeah, for 900, you know, I've always thought this is a pretty good deal in Amarillo, Texas anyway. I mean, I play 80 to 100 rounds a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I just like golf. That's good medicine. It's the cheapest drugs I can buy.
And it's legal.
It absolutely. But you know, I mean, you go anywhere else in Texas, I think. I mean, y'all played golf at different places and on trips. You know, we probably got the best deal, the hidden secret up here anyway. So I understand. You know, you got to fix the course. You got to mow it. You got to fix it. You got to repair it. And for guys I played with in my group, some of them, for various reasons, they travel, they're retired, they're 75, they don't play as much. That what y'all are talking about, over 21 to 40 or 45 rounds, is going to be a good deal for them, as opposed to just paying green fees.
Yeah, Mayor, these guys are annual permit holders.
Okay.
They're not going to be a candidate for the punch card.
They wouldn't pay the $2 round?
What's that?
They will.
Okay. Do you feel the same way as George? Do you feel the same way? About the $2 and the change, and it's just confusing to me. That was the only thing. Is it going to be confusing to everybody?
Well, we've had some
I'm a permit holder, and I visited with
Right.
Arthur Dahl and
Mhm.
George and Sherwin, and at first I thought the $2 thing was, I wasn't very much in favor of it, and I'm still not, but I think about it, the more I think about it, you guys are very intelligent in how you've done this. Might have explained it a little bit better, but it's a great way of increasing the annual permit. And for the guy that's going to play 50 times, you're going to raise the annual permit to $1,200. I'm just drawing numbers out of here. 12. That's not fair to him. He's probably not going to buy an annual permit. But if I'm going to play 100, 150 times, that's a great way to increase it. I think that you're very smart in doing that. Now, George and Sherwin are over there, their jaws are on their shoes. But
This is not the same dude.
Yeah, he was on your side first time.
The
you
more I
talked.
think about it, it's a great way. If I had anything to say, and I don't do this very often, and I'll probably get kind of emotional about this, but I feel that golf is very expensive. And we've taken golf away from the average John Q. public citizen. I mean, $25 is what I heard, 24. That's a steep price for someone. If my price was $24 to play golf, I would play once a week maybe. At $20, I couldn't play very often. So we've taken the average citizen out of getting to play golf. It's just too expensive.
Have you been to the movie lately and bought popcorn and Coke?
Yeah, I have.
It's more expensive than this.
No, I don't believe it is. I can go to the movie and a popcorn, maybe a Coke. Well, I have to bring my Coke in my wife's purse.
It's $26.
Well, I don't, you know.
And a little Coke, I had to take both hands to pick it up. That's the smallest they got.
Well, I get a bigger purse for your wife.
Yeah.
But you can go to, I can go to the movie by myself for about $10 and get a popcorn. May not get a Coke, but
Well, what I'm saying is that, and here again.
And I understand exactly what you're saying. But I'm just saying, guys, it's a park. Don't lose sight of that. It's a municipal park. And this is my feelings, and that 50 cents will get you a dollar.
$4.50.
Yeah, okay. Don't lose sight of that. And I feel that that's maybe something that we're doing. I'm disappointed in that. But y'all have to decide. Mr. Orfendahl and Dr. Eads and Mr. Boyd, I visited with them. They're great guys. They've represented us well. But that's my concern. It's just too expensive.
One of the great things about the golf courses that we have is they've been recognized nationally, which is great, and I'd sure like to keep that level up for you all to keep those awards coming and keep our course as nice as it can. Course is as nice as they can be. So you were going to say something, George?
I was just going to say.
George, I'm sorry, Sherwin.
Well,
I'm sorry.
he's my younger brother. We're very fortunate the last 4 years by the Dallas Morning News. He's won twice and Ross has won twice the last 4 consecutive years. They have 4 categories: expensive, high-end, moderate price range, and economic. And we won most economic value in the state of Texas the last 4 years. That's for a golf course, $45 or less for a green fee and a cart. And so that's a panel of about 100, 150 people from, used to be Byron Nelson and Ben Hogan, the sports writers from Fort Worth Star, Dallas Morning News that are on that panel, as well as golf professionals. So we feel fortunate, and George and I, and you guys, want golf to be as affordable in Amarillo because that runs more people through the door. But by doing that, we have been able to win that award 4 consecutive
Right.
years.
And we have a responsibility to keep those courses up, and that takes increased dollars all the time. So yes, Larry.
My last comment is that George and Sherman and I are always very mindful of watching our expenses and reducing our expenses. And we've been working on that over the last couple of years. And last year we did the 3% budget reduction. We met that. We surpassed that. And so our commitment, again, to what you're concerned is that we're going to watch our expenses. We're getting into a big aggressive water conservation program that's going to cut our water bills down. And so, we want to cut our expenses because we want to keep golf affordable.
Could I ask a question? What's the average rounds a year, George, on your course and Ross? I mean,
Well,
normally
I'm gonna run about 40 to 44,000 on an average year. Last year was 35,000, but most of that was in the winter and a softer summer. So we were off last year. But remember, we had basically a month. The winter was 2,200 rounds right there that was gone, and then our spring wasn't very good last year. Summer was a little softer.
Mine are 60 to 65. But we're off because of the winter. We knew we were going to be off. We came out of the winter so bad there was no chance to recover. And we were 92% off in February because of the weather alone. It's pretty hard to make the business work at 8% on.
I just recall a comment from one of the assistant pros at one time, this maybe 3 or 4 years ago, 5, that, he'd go to meetings down in South Texas and, having pros from all over Texas and something like that, and they'd get to talking about how many tournaments and how many people play your course, and when he'd say 60 or 70,000 rounds, their eyes would just bug out like that. That's just a ton of golf being played on a course that you continually got to keep up.
Where's it at?
It does.
Yeah, I mean, we want to keep them up and get nice and get awards, but at the same time, you run a bunch of traffic through there, you're wearing out things too at the same time.
There's a balance.
So, we play a lot of golf up here, it appears, on these minis compared to other places in Texas.
Minis. There was another section, right?
There is, before if we could go to page 2, what are y'all's thoughts on moving towards the discount card in lieu of the punch card that we currently have?
Makes sense. And that's a recommendation.
Are we just changing the name of this thing?
It's a different thing.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
We'll get that set up and bring it back to you for action to do that.
We're praying to have some more people here today.
On the golf?
Your church.
Yep.
I thought she was gonna take care of that Sunday nights and Wednesday nights.
Sherwood and George were going to take turns going to service with
Do
you.
that.
Yes, I was there at 9.
Good, they all called me.
Larry, if you could take us through page 2, please.
Okay, part of what we want to do in the future is look at, when I met here last week, I talked about really getting evaluating our revenue per round, our expenses per round, but then also we have to be very mindful of what our best price point for our prices are for golf here in Amarillo, and to try to keep making golf as self-supporting as possible. And so, in the future, as far as we look at the upcoming budget, which would be 11-12, there's a couple options that we looked at in terms of how do we achieve some more financial self-sufficiency. And so these are future considerations, and the only thing I want to say about some of these recommendations is that we don't, right now, we don't have a crystal ball to know exactly what our weather's going to do, or whether some other factors that will impact our rounds for a year. But one of the things that we recognize is that our green fee has to be competitive, as well as our annual passes have to be competitive with the price of golf is played in our region or in our area right here. And so we know that, as Mr. Frigo said, the $2 per round capital improvement fee will generate about $208,000 a year for capital improvements. But then as we go forward into the future, we want to probably look at some adjustments in fees. Did you want me to cover all that? Or?
No, I think what the proposal is here would be when you reopen Ross East, when you finished your renovations, which will be early summer, late spring of 2012, that you pull its green fee up to $22, which is the green fee you pay on Wild Horse, which is how the city paid itself back for Wild Horse. So that, coupled with some amount of money from the $2, makes the debt issuance that'll support Ross East a self-supporting issuance. You're not using general fund tax dollars to renovate that course. It's paying for itself under this proposal. Again, you wouldn't take action on this until your 11-12 budget.
How much was the renovation? How much?
No. So we potentially could be in the range of 3 to 3.3 million.
Construction costs.
3 to 3.5 million.
Which was a lot lower than what you anticipated originally.
Well, we set this. We told the architects that our budget is 3 to 3.3, and so that's what we're designing for.
And are you anticipating adding another $2 agreement fee on top of that? No.
Right now that shows to stay the same.
Hey, Larry, what's your comment? I keep hearing from a lot of people saying that this is the only positive quality of life, money-wise project. What's your thought on that? What? Well, I don't. I'm trying to say that in the right way. The quality of life thing is the only thing that pays for itself. It's quality of life. Well, I know. I'm just asking the question. Bring it up.
The renovations will pay for themselves under this proposal. Yes.
I just put everybody's grappling them.
What are they saying? I'm not understanding.
Well, I suppose it doesn't cost you anything to go to the park, but now we charge for the use of the baseball fields.
Do you think we're going to hear it when we get out front?
I know you will.
Okay. Well,
I'm just asking the question.
Well, I think one of the things that I always focus on is our mission statement, of course, but we want to be a full-service Parks and Rec department. We want to have quality programs across the board, whether it's golf, tennis, adult athletics, whatever. All these are important to different people in the community. Some people like softball, some people like golf, some like tennis. And so what we want to focus on is superior customer service and quality parks. We always want to be in a position to increase the quality of our park system year in and year out. And so with that comes, we really do need to be good stewards of how we manage these golf courses, and we want to make sure that we have the best value for the golfers. And so we understand it's our responsibility to keep that expenses down, and we try to do that every day. And so, so I'm hoping I'm answering your question, is that we want to continue to raise the quality of golf here in Amarillo, but we know, like, the reason that this project was so important, we have a 1972 irrigation system that we can't get parts for right now. And so we had to renovate redo the course, And so there's a whole lot of things. Once we get this new irrigation system in place, we're probably gonna save about 20% of our water bill. And so those are gonna be some costs that we're gonna try to pass on to the office.
We can talk about it later. Page 3 was put together, Mayor, just as a sample in response to Commissioner Boyd's request about what could we consider doing in the future. It has no impact on today, no impact on your 2011 play years. So, no, that's just kind of there as an example for y'all to think about, and it'll come back.
Can I tell Mr. Alfredall that this is the prettiest time of the year for the parks, and the parks
Oh,
have
it's
never
so-
looked more beautiful, and you are to be commended, sir.
Absolutely.
It's really the park staff.
It'd be so great. The fall flowers that are out there.
Out in front of City Hall next week.
They do a great job. Great. I was not able to comprehend all of this. I'm sorry, so I appreciate you putting it on paper, and it helps to understand it. Not sure for golf. Thank you all so much. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.
Well, we're glad to be here.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. You bet.
Appreciate you.
See ya.
Thanks for coming.
You bet.
See you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Bye, sir.
Sure.
Bye.
See you,
Oh, I'm
Mayor.
sorry. Good to see
Thank
you.
you.
Hey, George.
Okay, y'all take care. Thank you.
Are they playing
Y'all
golf
gonna be
today?
out there? or-
Some,
Some?
kind of windy.
Yeah.
Kind of winter.
Yeah. We need some better days.
Chance of snow Friday morning or something to that effect. that I heard?
Yeah,
Just keep
Yeah.
it from snowing, I'll
2%
be
chance
happy.
or something minor,
but Monday as well.
Monday as well,
I thought they liked the snow. Nitrogen.
Right.
but they wanted to come and be gone.
Right.
They like it,
Snow
they
and
just don't like
that,
it
we
a
got
lot.
by 9 the next morning. We lost her again.
Okay.
You gonna take over?
Go ahead, Mike. All right, go ahead.
You're mayor.
Go ahead.
There are a couple items of business remaining today. Of course, first, we have it posted to discuss the proposed changes that we need to consider making to your healthcare plan, your dental plan, your flex plan. Those are three, well, one of them is a very simple document. The healthcare document's a pretty good size. And we can start into that today. We can take any comments y'all may have, or if you want, we can go back and work with y'all. If you have any individual
I'm kind of scared
comments.
about
I know.
trying.
To address. And bring that back
Over
to,
here.
Yeah, I would request, Mayor, that perhaps I can work through a few issues with city staff. And could we just move this out maybe one meeting or something? And then I think we can, we'll eliminate all of
Or
that,
five.
we'll eliminate all of that, and then it'll just, so maybe it'll be easier.
Do we have a deadline on this at all?
Yeah, it's gotta be before January 1.
Oh, okay.
Good. Man, we can do 5
with
minutes.
everything that you have coming up, we could probably push that for discussion 2 weeks. Bring it back for you for discussion. If we've covered the items of concern, then I think that takes us to the
I
first
don't mean to
Tuesday
be,
in
I
December.
don't
and
mean
we
to be
approve.
difficult, but
No, that's not difficult at all.
Being you.
there's a way.
Hi.
Mike Turner from the IT department, come and check on you.
So he was here.
Yeah.
Mayor, where that leaves us now, of course, is it's almost time for our 3:00 meeting. Would ask that you consider coming back in the closed session upon completion of that. You do have an interview with a potential candidate for associate municipal court judge. As a reminder, that's one of your appointments that you would make. And then staff has several items that we need to discuss in closed session to get
So
your
we'll just
guidance.
end it right here, right now?
I think we could.
Oh, good, that was a little
I think we
time.
should.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll do that.